This is Big Poppy Racing.
It's time for event 2, the quarter mile. This track is going to be set up a little differently than we've done it in the past. It's going to be a long, continual drop, but it's not going to be a steady or hard descent. It's going to be a gradual descent, and looking for wheel movement on the cars just to sort of give you an idea what we're doing. Quarter mile it is. We've got a timing device. You will run two heats. One on one side, one on the other. Here's our sample. Got a couple of Daytonas. They'll move down the track, and we will get a time. I'm not going to announce the time. I'm just going to give it and show it to you, and I'll announce who the racers are. I'm not going to call the race during the race. I'm trying to get this done as quickly as I can so I can get it up. So there's your sample. Your times will be listed like this. First up, 4114 Racing. He's got a 67 Mustang Fastback and a Ferrari Testarossa. So the two times are totaled. Your total time is closest to the car. Next up, 734 Outlaws. He's got a Ferrari F40 and a silver Bullet. Next up, 7th Infantry Division Light. This will be Dirty D Racing. Next up will be Aces High Racing. He's got an 18 Dodge Challenger and the Speed Dozer. Next up, Big Al's Custom Diecast. He's got a Kia Stinger GT and a Rescue Ranger. Here comes Big Poppy Racing with a flat-out 442 and a Carbonite. Here's Big Rami with a Ferrari F40 and a Subaru WRX tuned. Next up is Blue Line Racing. He's got a Matchbox Mercedes and a Matchbox Datsun. Looks like somebody finally broke 9. Next up, Booga Basement Customs, a 56 Aston Martin and a Lannister prototype. Our next contestant is Button Boys Racing. Got a Chevy Stalker and a Turbulence. Cut Rock Racing has a Chevy Silverado and a Sidekick. Here comes Dirty D Racing with a Jaguar XJ 220 and away too fast. Go Miss Emily. Here's Down Squad Racing with a 67 Pontiac Firebird and a Speed Trap. DXP Racing has a flat out 442 and a Ferrari F40. Looks like he split blue line up. Next up, A-Team, the Crazy Canuck, a Lamborghini Urus and a Mitsubishi Evo. Here comes G-Buggy Racing with a Jaguar XJ 220 and a Toyota AE 86. Gen X Vintage Racing has one of my favorite castings, an AMC Javelin AMX, and a Horseplay. Here's Gut Feeling with a Ford GT40 and a Brit Speed. I accidentally deleted their picture, but they'll be there. Next up, Hot Car Track, Chevy Silverado and the Shadow Jet. Here come the H-Town Hustlers with a 68 Cougar and a Nissan 300 ZX. We'll only show the high one for the ones that are spread out. Here comes the Husky King Racing with a Corvette C6R and a Ferrari 355. Next up is Irons Diecast Racing. He's got a 2012 Corvette and an AE86 Sprinter Trudeau. Here comes Just for Luck with a Ford Escort and a hot tub. JX4 Racing has a Porsche 928 and a Soul Air CX4. Here's Don in Kaboom Racing. He's got a flat out 442 and a Sidekick. Here's Captain K Racing. He also has a flat out 442 and a Lotus Spree. Next up, the dear Lady of Speed. She's got a Chrysler 300 and an Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Looks like she picked the right cars. But next is League of Speed. He's got a Ford Mustang GT and a trim truck. That's about as close as you can get. Here's Lily's Boneyard. She's got a Matchbox Mercedes and a Matchbox Datsun. Metal Mania 3D has a Chevy Silverado and a Kia Stinger. Here's Michael's Diecast Garage, the Ford GT LM and the Jaguar XJ220. MDG looking good. Here comes Mr. BFG. He's got a Datsun 280 and a speed bump. Mr. BFG doing some spanking. Here's Mr. Mom Bubba. See how it goes. We got a Evo and a bubble gunner. Here comes Mr. Mom Joe, Ferrari F40 and a Toyota Supra. Last but not least, from up north, Mrs. BFG, a Ferrari F40 and a speed bump also. From across the pond, here's Kev Blokey, my Hot Wheels collection. He's got an F40 and a Rescue Ranger. Here's NJ Drive Racing with an Aston Martin Vantage and a Swoop Coupe. Next up is Nick Devers Racing. He's got a Ferrari F40 and a Turbulence sitting in for the hot tub, which was damaged by yours truly. Here's Overclocked Racing with a Triumph TR6 and a Lancer Evo. Next up, Pepler Racing with a Toyota AE86 and a Uno Obtainium 1. Here comes Po' Boy Racing, Chevy Silverado and a Shadow Jet. This is R&R Rhett Racing. Grandson. He's got an Aston Martin V8 and a Roger Dodger 2.0. Here's R&R Riker Racing with a Corvette Stingray and a DeLorean. Here's Red Pill, got the front-running Fairmont and a Datsun 300ZX. Some serious competition on top. Here's Redline Salvage Inc. with a Subaru Impreza and a Carbide. Next up, Rivera Racing with a Datsun 280ZX and a Way Too Fast. A lot of the newcomers doing really well. Here's Arlo Racing with a Ford Crown Victoria and a Mercedes 500 SE. Next up, Road Rage Racing. He's got a Bugatti Chiron and a Honda CRX. Here's Road Rage Racing 2. She's got a 17 Ford GT and a Volkswagen Beetle. Here's Rusty Rods Racing, a 71 Plymouth GTX and a 63 Aston Martin. Here comes Roo Riders, a Jaguar XE Project 8 and a Nissan Skyline GTR3. Here's Brandon with the Scale Racing Channel. He's got a Murata Stalker and a Solaire CX4. Folks, that car is fast. First place for him. Next up, the Silver Streaks. There's a Camaro Concept convertible and a Kia Stinger GT. I don't have their score illustrated either. It has been included. Next up is Team DRT3K. Ferrari 360 and a Mazda Miata. Here's Taiwan Sandy Mack with a Ford GT40 and the Jaguar XJ220. Here's the Troy Racing Team. He's got a Johnny Lightning 55 Chevy Cameo and a Matchbox Toyota Supra. Here comes Toon Tracks Racing. He's got the number 44 Pontiac Grand Prix Stalker and a Nissan Skyline. Here's Uncle Elvis with his Studebaker pickup and the Governor. This is WR Racing and Wobbly Bob. He's got a Porsche 944 and a Kia Stinger GT. Our last entry of the day, Your Nightmare Racing. He's got a 67 Mustang and a Datsun 280Z. Your Nightmare Racing ending up with some good times. So here's your final standings for the quarter mile. And here are your point winners. From left to right, you've got the place, the points, team entry, and their times. And here's the rest of the field. Here's your individual car standings after the first two events. Here's the updated team standings after two events. Thanks so much for watching. Don't miss Event 3. I'll have it up as soon as I can get it produced.
This has been a Big Poppy Racing production.